rising hot, bring it up. If the lies need sunlight, bring it up. Cause every night we talk love and then we talk lies, then we laugh, then we open your eyes. If it's messy but it's funny, bring it up. If it's sweet but it's shady, bring it up. Cause every night we talk love and then we talk lies. Real talk in our Cayman tonight.
Good night, Cayman. Good night, world. You're tuned in to Real Talk, Love, and Lies, the late night space where we put love, lies, and all the messy in between on the table. We're your hosts, Alfred and Matilda, and our other co-hosts are you, the listeners. Your stories, your questions shape this show. If you're new here, this is where we talk honestly about relationships and betrayal, laugh so we don't cry, and ask the questions most people only whisper about in group chats. So get comfortable, plug in your headphones, or turn the volume down low if the kids are still awake. This is Real Talk, Love, and Lies, and we're just getting started. Just a quick disclaimer before we get into it. The content you're about to hear, including discussions and opinions from us, our guests, and participants, is intended solely for general informational and entertainment purposes. We are not therapists or financial advisors, and nothing said on this show should be taken as professional advice. It is not a substitute for counseling, legal guidance, medical care, or financial consultation. If you have specific concerns, we strongly encourage you to seek advice from a qualified professional. Real Talk, Love, and Lies accepts no liability for any decisions or actions taken based on the information shared here tonight. We're here for honest conversation, respectfully shared, and any resemblance to real people is purely coincidental, unless somebody ordered dessert off menu. So, Matilda.
Hey, hi.
How are you?
I'm good, my love. I've been missing for a couple weeks, but I'm back in the game.
Yeah? You excited for tonight's topic?
I am, and I think we have quite a few people who are... We got some comments coming in already. Welcome.
Already?
Welcome to Abby and Connie Lynn. Noting our disclaimer.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a birthday? Is that a birthday thing, Abby? Whose birthday is it?
What? That thing she got up?
That's what it looks
No,
like. Oh, is that?
like,
Oh, tea.
That looks like tea. That looks like tea.
It's tea.
What kind of tea that is, Abby? Matcha? That's the matcha tea.
And I see we got great disclaimer. Anyone might think a lawyer drafted it. I have a feeling that was you now.
Who, me?
Yeah, you and ChatGPT.
Well, no, but I think remember I'm the devil pro bono, so so it go.
The devil pro bono.
The devil pro bono. That's right.
Oh man.
So, good night, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. Without you, we have no show, and I'm really grateful that we're getting traction with our channel. A lot of people are listening in. They're tuning in, and tonight's conversation is going to be a bit of a sensitive one, because it might touch on a few people. It might touch a nerve here or there. But before we get into it, I actually have a clip that if you're fans of a particular TV show that came out quite a few years ago, you'd recognize. And I think it's quite appropriate for the topic tonight.
He's a bisexual.
Well, I could have told you that, sweetie. He took you ice skating, for God's sake.
The weird thing is he was so open about it. You know, hi, I'm a bisexual, like, hi, I'm from Colorado or something.
I don't think you're allowed to be bisexual in Colorado.
Is that a problem? I mean, what kind of question is that? Is that a problem?
Of course it's a problem.
What did you say? I said it wasn't a problem. I panicked. He's such a good kisser.
You know, that generation is all about sexual experimentation. All the kids are going by.
So what, if all the bi kids are jumping off a bridge, you gonna do that too?
I'm a trisexual. I'll try anything once.
When did this happen? When did the sexes get all confused?
Somewhere between Gen X and Gen Y, they blended and made XY.
You know, I did the date the bisexual guy thing in college, but in the end, they all ended up with men.
So did the bisexual women.
Which explains why there are no available men left for us.
Oh, jeez. Maybe I do have a problem with this. I'm an old fart.
Correction, a hot old fart.
I'm not even sure bisexuality exists. I think it's just a layover on the way to Gay Town.
Isn't that right next to Ricky Martinville?
You know, I think it's great. He's open to all sexual experiences. He's evolved. It's hot.
It's not hot, it's greedy. He's double dipping.
You're not marrying the guy. You're making out with him. Enjoy it. Don't worry about the labels.
You're right, you're right.
I'm very into labels. Gay, straight. Pick a side and stay there.
Hey, sister, where are you going?
Home. I've got a date with my remote control. Steve's playing basketball. That means at least 3 hours of blissfully uninterrupted alone time.
What about my problem?
Stop kissing him.
Easy for her to say.
Oh yeah. So this is a hot topic. We already have a comment on here that I want to deal with. Like my ex had a Grindr account after 9 years, and I had no clue.
Wow.
I would.
Wow.
I
The
would
comment
die.
and the comments are just coming in, man. People got enough to say. Enough to say. Good night.
I'm
Good
saying
night,
not just
honey.
tea, it's matcha.
Uh-huh. Yeah, right. That matcha tea be good.
I love
Honey
this
said-
one though. Ex-wife
Honey
Connie
said-
picked that one up loud and clear.
Yeah.
Boy. That
Yeah.
was very, very good.
You see that? Yeah.
That DNA reference is awesome. The
So-
chromosome reference.
Mm-hmm. And XY is what? The chromosome for boys, right? For men, right?
No.
Mm,
Yes. Yes, because you all no.
Yeah.
I
Yeah, man.
I go
XY,
find that one.
XY is men. XX is women. So, but listen, thoughts. I mean,
So I saw somewhere, it was a movie that I watched years ago. It was something in Spanish, and I can't remember what it was. It was like a Spanish movie, and I don't know if anybody's like watched movies from Spain. I don't mean just in Spanish. I mean from Spain. They can be really, really out there, right? So XY is male and XX is female, by the way.
mhm.
So you had it right. But they said that everyone is. It was a drag queen talking to someone who was kind of freaking out about her sexuality, and she's like, "Yeah, every woman is a little bit bi. Every woman is a little bit bi." And I don't know that is actually so. But okay, I'm here for the conversation, bro. Like you let's get into this.
Well, what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on the idea that everybody in Cayman has at least one somewhere about in their family?
I don't know about in their family, because I think that. So I have a weird belief around this stuff. I feel like I believe that there is something genetic, right, to being gay or having, or being bi, right? So I am like the complete opposite of the people that think that this is chosen. I really believe that it's actually something that is in your genes. And so naturally, because of that, just like anything genetic, some families will have it and some won't. Like when I think about it, I don't think I know anyone in my family who is bi. I have a lot of people who are gay. I don't think I have. I can't even say a lot, because there's only like one grandparent that has a bunch of family members that are gay, but not a lot of people that are bi.
So you don't have that one cousin that nobody asked about, or that one uncle who never married, or that that one auntie who she always bring her friend over to the family dinners, and you never had any experience like that, or know anybody like that?
No, but that's what I'm telling you. I don't think so, because I think we had openly gay people in the family, not anybody that was bi. And so that's actually another question that came out of that clip, which is bi like a gateway to being gay? Like, is it the more socially acceptable thing for someone who is trying to work out how to come out? Because that one is one that I think is possible. But in families where this stuff is accepted, you don't see as much of the bisexual activity.
Well, I
But
think
maybe that's just anecdotal, okay? So this is not scientific or anything weird like that. Like I don't have any knowledge around this, but this is just what I've observed in my own experience with family.
no, I think in terms of the conversation, I mean, not just limiting it to bi people, but just just having LGBT family members.
Oh yeah,
I personally believe that everybody in Cayman got at least one running around some way about.
that's possible. I mean, you have and family is very wide, right? It's very broad. You probably don't have one in your immediate family, but
Or so you
I
think.
would say that.
Or so you think, right?
You gonna get people up in arms on this one. We got 34 people already watching. Watch when this one got the hottest views because somebody coming for Alfred for talking about their family.
Somebody coming for Alfred. Well, just come with facts. Just come with facts.
Listen,
Yeah.
I gonna run these comments as we go. I'm not sure we can keep up with all of you, but I'm gonna keep them on the screen at the very least.
It's hot tonight. Abby
But-
says, "Do you just be true to yourself always? You get one life." Abby. Now, the real Michelle says, "I recall Cayman tried to ban gay cruise ships from stopping at Grand Cayman.
I remember that.
1997, 1998. Wasn't there one more recent than that too?
Oh yeah, we've had several since that have actually come here, and sometimes the Christian people be waiting for them at the port,
Yeah,
throwing
because
Bibles at them like that works.
because I remember that was some news article. I wouldn't quite say maybe around 15.
I don't think
16
it's a
years
bigger
ago.
deal now because it's people have accepted that this is a thing that whether you like it or not, it's a thing.
I mean, people can get same-sex partners now. So I mean, whether
Well,
they like it or whether Cayman likes it or not, I mean, it's the
Well, let's
law
just face it. Gay people spend more money. This is a they call it I remember in England they used to call it the pink pound. It was
now.
and there are names for it in every country.
Or the
where-
pink dollar in the
The
States.
pink dollar, right? Yeah.
Mhm.
And so there's a oh my god, my ex is still in the closet. He's in his 50s.
Oh, real Michelle, you gotta stop now. You're not putting people.
Michelle, a rough boy. Don't get me wrong, and I believe I got one of them too. But I can leave him in the closet right where he belongs.
What?
God bless him. He's a lovely guy, but I
What?
really think so.
Licky.
Licky turn them by trying multiples. Oh hush.
Licky.
You see, I think that's another reason why Jamaicans are afraid of I know we could get into it, cunnilingus. A Jamaican men afraid to eat.
That's what they say,
Yeah.
but they
That
don't
what
eat
they
under the table. But we both
But
know
I'm
that's not true.
We know that's not true, but I'm wondering now, like now that she said licky turn them by, it make me wonder, is that why they're afraid to do it? They're afraid that they're gonna give competition. They're gonna get competition from a woman.
You remember talking about that? I mean, this kind of off a little bit off topic, but talking about that, you remember that what's about a couple of years ago, maybe about 4 or 5 years ago, around COVID time. You remember that thing about that Jamaican police officer who were eating under the table in another video, talk about it tastes like rum raisin ice cream?
No.
You know, listen, if anybody in the audience remembers that, send me send something like saying I remember in the comments, please. Because
Don't send the video. Don't send the video, Lord.
No, don't send the video. Just send a thumbs up or something saying that you remember that.
So
Yeah,
this is how I know that I'm not. Because just the thought of that, just like no, thank
No.
you. I really don't need to know them things.
The memes that came out of that, Matilda. I remember one
You're
meme
familiar.
talking about Jamaican constabulary hiring officers must have 3 CXC passes, must be able to eat under the I don't want to
Oh
say
yeah. I do remember the meme. I remember that one.
must know about Devon House ice cream and
Oh dear God, Connelly, you on a roll, Connelly. They don't eat their yam, Lord.
then yam. What you say?
They let me go to my bed because listen, you already started this. You don't leave us out here by yourself. You try to stay on the show.
No, Connie, don't leave us. Stay with us. We won't be here.
We don't have long to go. we gonna spend a special hour together.
The comments rolling in, boy. Yeah. But about that topic about because we're gonna get into the topic of DL. And for those of you who don't know what DL stands for down low. So these are usually it's in reference to men, but I'm gonna go ahead and expand it to women too. Basically, it's people who present a front in public that they are heterosexual, but behind closed doors, they engage in, same-sex activity from time to time. And, it's funny in researching this topic for tonight, there's this thing called the Kinsey scale. So for those who aren't familiar, there was a man. Say that again.
This is good. I'm so excited about this because I only learned about this since we started researching this show. So I'm excited about it because we don't ever talk about what we always talk about gay, bi, and straight. We never talk about variation. So I'm super excited to hear the comments on this and actually, let's open up this conversation to what is actually out there in the world. What does it look like?
Right. So, well, for those who don't know who he is, I mean, a little history lesson. He was a famous sexologist back in the 1940s and 50s who he wanted to research all aspects of sex. And one of his, how shall we say, one of his areas within his research focused on homosexuality versus heterosexuality. And based on his studies, and he collected a sample of the population, and he did his studies. I'm not going to bore people with the details from our research, but basically what he found is that very few people are exclusively straight or exclusively gay. He found that most people in the study fell somewhere in between. And so what he did was that he came up with a scale called the Kinsey scale, and he gave them a number. So I'll just go ahead and share it on the screen for our audience to see. Right? Maria Michelle says, I saw a show called My Husband Is Not Gay. Hilarious show poking fun at Seventh-day Adventist. Jesus, Lord. You try to get us in trouble.
Wickedness. You will get us all canceled.
You try to get us in trouble with them.
You know I gotta look for that now.
Yeah, boy. So if you're looking at the screen, basically what it is he gave this. It starts at a 0. This one seems like a more modern one with an X before the 0 to kind of take into account, people who describe themselves as asexual. But people who are exclusively heterosexual or exclusively straight, they were given a score of 0. And those that were exclusively homosexual or those that were exclusively gay were given a score of 6. But what he found in his research is that most people in the study fell somewhere between 1 and 5. So 1 would be somebody who is mostly heterosexual, but only slightly or incidentally homosexual. 2 would be somebody, again, who's mostly heterosexual, but more than incidentally homosexual. 3 would be somebody who's equally homosexual and heterosexual. 4 now, anything beyond that now is leaning more toward the homosexual side. So 4 would be mostly homosexual, but slightly, on occasion will dabble with, more than dabble with, straight contacts. 5 would be mostly homosexual, and maybe once or twice in a blue moon might dabble with somebody of the opposite sex. And then, of course, 6 is, strictly the same sex. So, yeah, that's the Kinsey scale. What do you think?
So I'm not going to put anybody on the spot, right, about this, but I am, and I know that you are far more private about these things than I am because I just like my mouth don't join church. But I don't. Okay, so first of all, I think it's very possible that to believe the results, especially since he would have been taking part in something that he was in. This was in the 1950s, right?
1940s.
Even worse. So in the 1940s, it would have been even less acceptable to come out than it is today. right? So if those results were already leaning towards the 1 to 5 being where most people live in the 1940s, that is huge. That means that, it's probably even more of a percentage in the 1 to 5 than in like today that would actually come out and say that, would respond to the questioning in the same way. However, I also like I experienced myself, and I just have there are a couple of my friends that would also say this, right? Strictly dickly, and it's like where my experience of my own sexuality is that I actually have an aversion to the idea of anybody performing a homosexual act on me or me on them. So there's like a physical aversion to that. Like it's revolting to me in my own thought around my own experience. And this, of course, is not directed at anyone else. But I think this is evidence that I would probably fall on a 6. But I have also have a lot of people in my life who are gay, who are bi, who identify as somewhere between 1 and 5. And sorry, I would identify as a 0. 0 is exclusively heterosexual. But I don't think I have met many people who are on a 6. So for instance, I had almost everybody who is gay that I know in my life has had sexual experience and an exploration of heterosexuality and did not have revulsion about the idea, right? But I came across a guy when I was in college somewhere, I can't remember where he was from, but he had never been in the closet. He was fully supported as a gay child of a family that was super supportive. He had never not known that he was gay. So there was no exploration to do. He just knew. And I remember him having like a physical aversion to the idea of being anywhere near a woman's body parts. And I just remember looking at him and saying, "Oh, I completely understand." Right?
But Matilda, good pum pum deserves shelter. What are you talking about?
She's some piece. You would never let that go. You would never let that go. That's
Good
so
pum
funny.
pum deserves shelter.
I behave because listen, just for the people listening, that's not something that he says out the blue. That came off of a clip that we played like about 10 episodes ago, and we will never live it down. It was hilarious. But yes, so he I do think that there is just got a good question in. I do think that there is something to be said for that 1 to 5 being where a lot of people live, but it's almost like if you have a physical aversion to the idea of anyone coming close to your body of who is like of your same sex, then perhaps you're a 0, and vice versa. Perhaps you're a 6 if you have that complete aversion to the idea of the genitalia of a person of the opposite sex. If there's that, then you probably fall somewhere between 1 and 5.
Well, to make it a bit easier for some people, because I know that, not to insult the intelligence of the audience, I know that there are a lot of people who might have trouble following along with this whole 0 through 6, right?
Yeah.
So if I can use an analogy, I would say, think of it like dessert, right? If you could think on one end of the spectrum, you have people who only like cake. And then the other side of the spectrum, you have people who only like ice cream, right? So some people love cake and only cake. They don't care about ice cream. They don't want ice cream. And then some people love ice cream and only ice cream, no cake needed. But then there's a whole group of people who like both, right? Now, some would prefer cake, but they'll happily have ice cream. And some would prefer ice cream, but they won't turn down cake. And then you got some people who genuinely enjoy both equally. right? No,
And then you got
that's
some that allergic to gluten, so they won't eat cake, and you got some allergic to lactose, so they won't eat
yeah,
ice cream.
those are the people that like the sugarless, creamless. What was it?
Oh God.
Vegan ice cream, which turned out to be just ice, right? Anyway, so that's the spectrum. Now, here's where, in my view, from my research and talking to a few people about this, here's where culture comes in, right? So imagine a society that says ice cream is the only acceptable dessert, right? Cake is wrong. Cake is off the table. You're not allowed to have cake. What happens then?
Mm-hmm.
You have the people who love ice cream. They're fine. So they would be, I guess, let's call it 0 through 5,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? They're fine because at least they get something, you know, these are the people who love ice cream. They have their outlet, right? But then you have the people who only love cake. They're the ones that are left out completely. And then for the people who like both, they'll publicly eat ice cream, but they'll sneak into the kitchen for cake when the itch hits, right? And that now is the essence of DL culture, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um,
So DL means down low,
mhm,
right?
mhm.
So somebody who's living in the down low, who is and is probably married. I mean, this is something that I noticed with people that are in DL, they're in a DL, often accelerate relationship advancement very, very quickly. Because the purpose of having that beard, or what's that other version? So you call them beards, and what's the other one?
I think a beard is a woman who is married to a man to hide the fact that he's gay.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So when you
I
have
don't
that,
know if there's a word for the other side.
there is, man, and there was another version. I can't remember what it was, but
A hairdo.
I don't know the coiffer, right? So,
Real
but
Michelle says ice cream for ice cream, vanilla. I choose vanilla.
I choose vanilla. So there's like this like, oh gosh, where are we going with this now? So DL culture, it often involves like deception. That's the problem that I have with it, right? So that's and we could get through this and why people go into DL and all of that, but that's one of the things that I don't like. That's the coiffer. It's called lying.
Well. If we can stick to the the analogy, right, of the dessert, right. So if you have, say, for example, a man who genuinely prefers ice cream, but occasionally craves cake, but the cake is culturally condemned because, you know, oh well, you know, the family reputation or the church say that to eat cake is wrong, or, you know, business contracts or political ambitions, or, you know, immigration security, whatnot, what have you, right? He might build a whole life around ice cream. So what does that look like? The marriage and the kids and the public image. But then when that internal craving doesn't disappear, it goes underground.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So this is now where he sneaks into the kitchen now to get that piece of cake, or he sneaks into other people's kitchen to get that piece of cake. Now, I want to be clear here. I don't think well, I know you, I certainly am not. Neither of us are excusing dishonesty, right? Like nothing we're describing here justifies hurting partners. We're just trying to explain why DL situations exist more than people want to admit. Sorry.
So
Hello?
I'm here. Hello?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm listening to you.
Okay, I thought you were getting a call because we also have our phone lines open. So I'm going to throw this up and make sure you can contact us. But I think it's important to. I have okay. So let's focus on the gay person or the bi person who is in that DL, because it's not just. I think I have less of a problem with a bi person making a convenient choice. than I do with somebody who's really gay that does not want to be like somebody who is a 6, who does not want to be with that, does not want to eat cake, right? And is stuck with only ice cream. And but they will do it for social advancement or different things. Like, and they'll do it for whatever reason. They're hiding from something, right? Oh, I love this comment. See, so gay men have too many rights in 2026 for men to still be DL. Sorry. Gay men have more rights than women nowadays.
Thoughtful comment. We need a kaboom button.
Well, yes and no, because it's not just about rights. I agree with you there. Like, you have to have some courage to be yourself in this world, no matter what your challenge is. Like, everybody got to struggle. And I hear you. I don't think the fight for women's rights is over. I think that, and you know that I always ready to go to war on that particular front. However, I think it's more than just rights. There are so many things that people can lose from coming out still, socially, in their families, in their communities, that make it much harder. Yes, we have rights and we can be protected, but if you're going to live completely isolated from the people that you love, that's a hard choice to make. I get that. However, working that out and then involving someone else in it and using them to cover you, that I think is where it gets hard. So I completely hear you. Yes, too many rights to be DL is different from too many rights to come out. I understand not coming out. I don't understand the DL because the DL is hurtful. I have been in. Okay, so let me
Careful.
I gotta be careful not to get too personal on this one because
before you go in though, I just have a comment I have to share from WhatsApp. This one is for you.
Yeah, go for it.
This comment came in from WhatsApp. Well, at least Alfred is no longer singing hello.
Oh,
is it me you're looking for?
Oh gosh.
Yo,
oh man, why would you bring it up? You just wanted to hear him say it. That's all that is. I just weaned him off of this and you went and brought it up. Dear God.
Sorry, go ahead.
If I never hear that song again, it would be too soon.
What a mess.
Oh man.
Sorry, but you were saying no. Go on.
So
you were saying not to get too personal.
I have a hard time. No, not to get too personal, but I have been very close to a situation that felt like it was a DL, right? Where the person that was being deceived went into such a mental depression because they could not figure out why this man that they loved wouldn't touch them. What's wrong with me? Am I too fat? Is there something wrong with my body? What did I do wrong? Does he not approve of me? And it took that person years to get over it. Years to get over the rejection of not being wanted. And you always know, you can't hide that. If you're a 6, don't be fasting with the other people if you're a 6, don't be fasting with people's head.
Does it only have to be a 6 though? I mean, I kind of get the feeling that it could be.
No, but if you somewhere between 1 and 5, you'll be interested and participate. Like you actually have something to gain from some pleasure from the experience. But if it's evident to the people, there are a lot of people that are 6s that are on the DL.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Maybe at 5, I would have a problem with that too. But I understand a bi person getting into a relationship because at that point in time, who are you gonna tell them to choose?
Well, I think for me, whether to your point, right? I think it's the dishonesty, right? Because even if you are, let's put up the Kinsey scale again so that we have our reference. I think that if you are a 1 to a 6, or let's just limit it to 1 through 5, right? If you're a 1 through 5,
you may,
and you're with your partner, but you're going out, going into the kitchen and sneaking your slice of cake, and your partner brought home ice cream, but you going in the kitchen and you eating your slice of cake. right? I mean, and your partner doesn't know, your partner doesn't approve, your partner, I mean, what your partner can't possibly approve if they don't know. I mean, I don't think you have to be exclusively a 6 in order to be on the DL. I mean, I think it can be any one of those from 1 through 6.
I don't know, because there is a okay, so to me, DL, I understand what you're saying. So you're not actually being honest about your sexuality with your partner. That's what DL actually means in the context of what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
I am saying that you actually take no pleasure, no sexual pleasure from being with this person. Because so I see the possibility of you being bi, because a lot of people don't even know that they're bi. They don't explore the idea, and they won't even know that they're attracted to other people
That was
because they
the
won't
other
give
thing.
themselves permission to see it, particularly if they're a 1 or a
That was
2.
Well, that was the other thing. That was the other thing that came up in my research, right? Is that, Kinsey stated, and I mean, studies that have built on his research since have stated that um, sexuality is something that can be fluid. Now, it doesn't mean that you can go from 0 to 6, but it could be, let's say you're a 1, right? And you can, at some point in life, you can go to a 2 or maybe a 3 or maybe a 1.5 or a 2.5, right? Or let's say that you might grow up thinking that you are a 6, right? Exclusively homo, but then at some point, you see this person of the opposite sex that for whatever reason just sort of, you're curious about them, and you want to explore that. So you might be like a 5 or a 4, right? So I mean, I thought that was very interesting in the research that that sexuality can be a bit fluid. So I mean, yeah, that goes to your point, right? That people might not know that they're bisexual, or they might experience feelings.
So there's more. I actually just got a message, and I'm going to read it to you.
Okay.
The question was, are you going to discuss the research about Black men and if they are asked if they are gay? So culture dictated the answer was no, they're not gay. But when they changed the question to if had they had contact with same-sex individuals, that changed the results drastically. And so the person went into it in more detail. There's no single study necessarily, but a lot of public health data, and the full body of research, particularly following the HIV, in the 1980s, the epidemics, and the pandemic really is what it was. The key idea was that there's identity versus behavior. You have men who identify as gay or bisexual, and men who have sex with men but identify themselves as straight.
Okay, so like for
Right?
them, I think I know what you're talking about. So for
And
those
it's
that
particularly true of Black men. So there's a review, several studies and reviews showed the mismatch clearly. A review of down low Black men found that Black men who had sex with men are more likely than other races to be bisexually active or identified, and less likely to disclose same-sex behavior, highlighting low agreement between identity and behavior categories.
I think I know what you're talking about there. I think because for again in my research, right, there's a distinction between those, like you say, those people, those men, I mean, using them because they're the ones who are in that study, who like gay is like, going out there and parading around with rainbow flag and marching for rights and that kind of thing, and the whole certain behaviors that go along with that identity and that epithet, and and no, they don't want that. They just want the sexual contact, or maybe even if it's a romantic thing, but they don't see themselves as gay, because gay comes with all of this expectation that you'll be out in marches and with rainbow flags and that kind of thing, and they don't identify as that. So I think the term that the researchers used in the research is MSM, men who have sex
MSM,
with
men who
men.
have sex with men.
Right. So, which I guess is supposed to, to capture everybody that fall in that umbrella.
But do you notice that there are fewer women that you experience being that you come across who are clearly DL?
I think that has to do with more culture, because when we live in a heteronormative society, right? So men are on top and women are on the bottom, and men must dominate and women must be submissive. And I don't think many men
Otherwise,
find it
there's patriarchy.
offensive. They don't find it offensive when they see two women together, because for them, women aren't seen as a threat, so to speak. Matter of fact, many men, if you talk to many straight men, they will say, that that they find out that their woman is into other women. The first thing that comes to their mind is, ooh, threesome, right? And for them, it excites them, right? That their woman, or they can get two for the price of one. But then when for some, when they find out that the woman didn't know that this doesn't include you, I think then they have a problem with it. Yeah, so I mean, I don't think that. I think it's more culturally acceptable, or
I
maybe
think
not
it's more than
acceptable, but
that.
not
Can
as
I
bad.
have another layer to add to that. Yes, it's
Not
more
as bad.
culturally acceptable, but I think it is also more normal for women to be seen supporting other women, and women to be in relationship with women, even on a platonic level. Women to be physically
Yeah.
connected to each other, like women
Holding
hug
hands.
more. Women, yes,
Hmm.
like women
Just
like
walking
arm in
about.
arm, and there's women are more um it's more socially acceptable, and socially it's more the norm within our culture is that women actually relate to each other better, more. And so that it is not significantly out of the norm to see two women enter into a relationship. It doesn't present differently than two women who are friends, particularly
Mhm.
if they're not doing PDA all over the place. PDA, public displays of affection, all
Yeah,
over
yeah,
the place.
yeah. I think women are just seen as less threatening. I mean, if you see, for example, if you see I don't know, like if you see a woman just hugging a child that isn't hers,
Yeah,
right?
it don't freak you out in the same way.
It's like, oh well, she's mothering, and look how caring she is, and look how nurturing she is. Whereas if it's a man hugging a child that's not his, the first people think is, oh, what his problem is, like, okay, you better watch him now, and you can't be too careful because he's predators. I think there's an assumption that men are more dangerous. So
Well,
it's
statistically proven.
I have my thoughts about that. I mean, I think women, I mean, this goes into another topic altogether about the whole grooming, and I think women do it too, just that women don't get caught as often. But
Mhm.
I talked about that on one of our earlier shows. So, women can get away with more than, anyway, back to our point, women can get away with more than what men can get away with. Because, I mean, if two women hold hands in public, maybe they're together, or maybe they're just friends. But if two
In
men
other
hold hands
cultures,
in
it's
public,
men. In a lot of like the Arab cultures, men will hold hands. It's as
right,
normal as
right.
anything else. So,
But this
so it is
culture,
interesting that in our culture, yeah,
it's automatic. Listen, well, what he holding hands with him for? Oh, he queer? Yeah, he one of them queers.
yeah.
Hmm. Hmm.
But it's like, but back to the DL conversation, right? Like, I
Hmm.
think there is you can see why somebody would choose to be DL. Like you see and I do consider DL to be okay. So I noticed, and I think this is probably what the person who commented earlier, Martin, was saying, like, gay men have too many rights in 2026 for men to still be DL. Sorry, gay men have more rights than women nowadays, and I don't disagree with you. One of the things that I noticed that we need to talk about what DL means, because I noticed that I have been using DL as somebody who's in a beard relationship, somebody who's in a relationship with someone to hide the fact that they're gay.
Mm-hmm.
But I think DL actually speaks to just not out as gay, not out as bisexual, not out as anything but heterosexual, like presenting only as heterosexual, even if you have other attraction. So maybe my definition of it is too strict, but I notice that my response to the thought around DL is always if they are in a relationship with another person, a heterosexual relationship, where they are unable to meet the needs of that person, they have no business doing it.
Well, I mean, to the commenter's question, thank you. To the commenter's comment, sorry, thank you so much for sending that comment in. Right? Yeah, I mean, nowadays, members of the LGBT community have many rights in 2026. I mean, here in Cayman, 2 men and 2 women can decide to get into a domestic partnership and get most of, I think it's most of the rights of marriage, most of the rights in marriage.
All of them legally, except for the term.
Yeah, but I think what is left out as to why people become DL, again, I'm not endorsing it, nor am I saying, I'm just giving context. I mean, people tend to forget that, family, especially here in Cayman and in our Christian society, or wanting to present ourselves as a Christian society, the church is a very strong force, and family pressure is a very strong force. I mean, when you have a man or a woman in Cayman who is, they're working and they're able to provide for themselves, and they're able to choose to live life on their own terms, and they're not really influenced by the church, or they're not really influenced by, or they ignore the church. But what about young people, who are completely dependent on their family? When the family says, if you turn out to be one of those people, if you turn out to be a queer, if you turn out to be one of them lesbians, we cutting you off. You're dead to me.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Which is probably why so many people take so long to come out.
But in the meantime, until they come out, it's like, all right, well, I mean, in the case of a man, all right, I'm gonna get with a woman, but while I'm with that woman, I'll go on dates with her. But every now and then, I'm gonna have my little dalliances with men, ever so often,
Mm-hmm.
right? I mean, it's while you're figuring that out, it's the damage that you can cause in between.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have a
I
question
remember
for the
there was a
audience.
guy. Hold on, we have a comment that I wanted you to address.
Sure.
And while you read the comment, I'm gonna give you another story, right? So I had a conversation with a hairdresser that I used to go to. And the person was telling me, because they were openly homosexual and gay, they were out, right? And they were saying to me that, have you seen this guy? Because I don't know who he is, and he kind of strange, and he told me that he's curious and he wants to try things. I'm like, but I don't know this guy. So gay people are approached out the blue by some of these DL people, and it makes them very, very uncomfortable, is what I learned from this conversation. This is what I took away from it. So he was approached by this guy, and when he said, do you know this person? And I'm like, because I'm kind of creeped out by it, by hold on one second. I'm kind of creeped out by this guy because he's making these moves, but it's like he's just curious, and he saw me, and it's obvious that I'm out, and I'm kind of freaked out. Is he one of those people that's gonna like hunt me down and chop me up? Because of course, gay people are also at risk of being hurt and attacked even more than women, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when I saw the person, I nearly did, because the person was somebody I knew in the community who had just gotten married and had a baby on the way.
Mm.
And I was so upset for the wife because, and these are young people, they plenty younger than me, right? So,
Mhm.
and I always wondered, why is this boy pushing to get married, pushing to get married? He's so young. And he, turns out that he was bi-curious, which is what I would probably call somebody who was a 3. Not a 3, a 2. Right? I would call somebody who's a 2 bi-curious, right?
Let me put this the scale back on.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. Right. So, and I noticed that, and so I kind of agree with the comment or Martin, where it's like, yo, that you don't have no excuse for that. You don't have any excuse for that. And
Yeah, I agree too.
because that's
I
still
agree.
cheating. And see, the thing, that's the part that I think that's the part that we stepping over right now, is that is still cheating. And if
Mhm.
it's, so not only is are you cheating with you stepping out of your relationship, but you're also not revealing that part of who you are to your person. So it
Mhm.
feels like a double betrayal. Like, you have, not only are you cheating and lying to me, like any man would probably, like, that cheats does, but you're also doing it like you're actually stepping out, and not sharing with me the the fact of who you are. So you're withholding who you are from me. Hold on, Martin commenting now. Yeah, cheating, don't matter with who. And I think that's the point that DL men miss. They're still lying no matter how they slice it.
Yeah.
And I don't know if he was responding to here. It does, but especially the married ones with kids.
What-
Ew.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And to Martin's comment, thank you so much for sending that in. Right.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think what we need to talk about is the real cost of this whole DL lifestyle, right? Or this DL culture, because you know when we talk about the culture, we usually focus on the secrecy, but the secrecy always spills onto somebody else. Right. I mean, you
Mm-hmm.
mentioned that, that there are wives who feel that something is off, something is off here, but I can't quite put my finger on it. Right.
Worse, the one that don't,
Or the
and they're
husbands who
shocked.
suspect,
Mm-hmm.
or the husbands who suspect, but they stay quiet. Right. And then also, I mean, looking at it from the other side, I mean, you have, maybe they have openly gay partners who accept being hidden, because they think that that's the only option available to them. And then when you think about
Mm-hmm.
children growing up in houses, where they like they can detect the tension, but they don't have a name for it because, again, they're too young, right? And then the silence becomes heavy in the home,
Mm-hmm.
and not to mention, I mean, this is something that people still like to, hush hush here in Cayman, the health aspect of it.
Mm-hmm.
When somebody is living 2 parallel lives, and their primary partner doesn't know, you're removing their ability to make an informed choice. And sexually transmitted diseases don't care about reputation. They don't care about your church membership or your image. If somebody is stepping outside their marriage secretly, whether with men or women,
Mm-hmm.
and their spouse believes that they're in a closed relationship, that
Putting
spouse
that
is
person at
exposed
risk.
without consent.
Yeah, and that right there is a big part, consent. I wanted to address this comment because it was, some say that LGBTQ is a cult. Would you agree? Can I take this one?
Sure.
I don't believe we can ever call somebody's sexuality a cult. Um, we really need to talk. Be careful how we throw words around. Cults are organizations that are designed for the control of its members and the
Hmm.
isolation of its members from their families, their friends, and anyone who will influence them away from the structure of the cult. That is
Especially relating
not
to
what this
religion.
is. This is a genetic predisposition that people have with them, just like with somebody who is left-handed, somebody who has a retroverted uterus, somebody like you have the same. And we have the same, like, it's the same type of thing. This is a genetic condition, in my opinion. And when I say the word condition, because it's not a bad thing, it's not an illness. This is just one of the variations of what humanity is. We are varied and we're complicated, and we like what we like. And if it's a cult, I tell you one thing: if the facts are, according to Kinsey, that the majority of the human race is between 1 and 5, then we all in it. That's one hell of a cult,
Yeah, like.
you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I may have over answered that particular one.
Yeah, I know, but I agree with you. I mean, a cult is um a cult is, like you say, it's about the control of people, especially when it comes to religion,
Mm-hmm.
right? So like you said, we need to be very careful the words that we use, because it can give people who
These
are
words have
outside or people
technical
who are
meaning.
uninformed the wrong impression.
Yeah, but these words have technical meanings you can't step away from, and
Yeah.
it's a misnomer to apply it into this space, because, and cults, and just to clean up just a little bit, cults are not always religious. The point of a cult is that it exercises control over your behavior that is punished if you step outside of it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Boy, we coming down to time, bro. This has been a hell of a conversation. You got any last thoughts?
Me?
Mhm.
I mean, I guess last thoughts would be, in a place as small as Cayman, we pride ourselves on community and on family and on knowing each other, but um, some of the deepest parts of people's lives we pretend not to see.
What
I
does
mean,
that mean?
I guess if the message I would leave, or my message to leave, you'll have your own message to give. I mean, honesty may cost you some form of comfort, and secrecy costs other people peace. And I mean, the two are not the same price. I mean, if you're living fully in the light, I mean, I hope that you stay safe. And if you're living in the halves, HALVES, I mean, I hope that you find clarity. And if you're a parent or you're a partner or a friend, ask yourself whether the people you love feel safe being whole around you or being themselves around you. Because a place like Cayman, I mean, darkness doesn't stay dark forever. And in my view, I mean, everybody just deserves a love that doesn't have to hide. I mean, I guess if I could leave the audience with that message, I mean, I think it would be that.
I think I would take it another step further, right?
Go ahead, shoot.
And I would say that every human being has to fight through some form of battle to fully actualize themselves into this life. Every person has a struggle and has to find courage to be who they are. And as we create a community in which it is safer and safer for everyone in our community to be themselves, I think we all have we have two responsibilities. Every single one of us has two responsibilities. One is to allow the space for our neighbors to become themselves without judgment. And two is to work to self-actualize ourselves and face our own challenges with courage. Yeah. And I think that is it is probably more impactful, a bigger ask of someone who is facing the truth of their sexuality being something that is counter to what has been traditionally accepted within our culture. However, for every single person who gains acceptance and creates it, and for every single person that accepts their neighbor as they are, each one of those is building the better world that we are all aiming for.
Beautifully said. Beautifully said.
Thank you.
Well, folks,
That's it for us.
that's it from us. This is part 1, so maybe, who knows, maybe we'll have a part 2 revisiting this.
We always talk about part 2. We used to talk
Yeah,
about
we always talk about part 2. Don't worry. Yeah, we're teasers. So, but with that said, this has been Real Talk. I'm Alfred.
I'm Matilda.
And good night, world. Good night, Cayman.
Cause real love steady, it don't need show. It move like reggae bassline, nice and slow. Real talk, love and lies. Each situation in disguise. Truth come first, we no compromise. Open your eyes, open your eyes. From Cayman shore to city lights. Real talk, love and me talk lies. Hold your heart, protect your vibes. It's real talk tonight.